Where do the reports come from? Did you get an initial?
One PodVader.
That's football.
Every angle of the NFL covered.
All that kind of stuff, I get it.
This,
no question about it,
is Next Fan Up.
We're going to unleash hell here in December.
Hello and welcome to the Thursday Night Football Preview. It's the Atlanta Falcons at the Carolina Panthers. We are currently without a Carolina Panthers superfan. We actually have quite a number of openings. If you want to check out our openings, you can go to our website, nextfanup.wordpress.com. We also have all of Doc's recipes of the week, and our power rankings are listed there. But all of our superfans are listed on our website, and the Carolina Panthers is currently open. But the Atlanta Falcons is not. That is held by our superfan MJ, who is good friends with Eagles James, who will step in and help MJ preview Thursday Night Football. Here we go.
All right, football fans, Week 8 in the NFL kicks off on Thursday night with a matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. Substituting in for this fan battle is myself, James, the Eagles superfan, and I have MJ, our Falcons superfan, on the line. MJ, how you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. How about yourself?
You know, it's 8 weeks into the season, and on the onset, you know, while both of our teams have crappy records, only one of us looks like they might make the playoffs. Can't feel good.
Yeah, no, my Falcons are not going to make the playoffs. I mean, statistically, it's possible. From a pure numbers perspective, it is possible. Based on what I've seen on the field, it's not going to happen.
Keep hope alive, man. Keep hope alive. Your team comes off a gut-wrenching and albeit disappointing loss on Sunday to the Lions, and the short turnaround. You go to Carolina to play the Panthers, who themselves are coming off a loss. Initial reaction of what happened, because, you know, the talk of the NFL world, especially around the Falcons, is last-second gaffes. It was the failed to recover the onside kick against the Cowboys early this season, and the defense not even showing up for the last minute, 9 seconds against Detroit. What is going on here?
I've honestly got no clue at this point. I mean, you know me. Historically, I've always said the Falcons defense is why we lose as many games as we lose. But I would say over the last, 5 to 6 years, the defense has looked better. But these first 8 weeks, I don't know what's going on with that defense. It's before Dan Quinn got let go, the defense couldn't stop a Girl Scout troop. Now you've got Raheem Morris as interim head coach, and the defense does look better. They do look better, but they're still not coming up with the stops. Let me rephrase that. They're coming up with some stops, just not the more important stops. Because even against that Lions defense, or against the Lions offense, the Falcons defense actually held its own in some key moments, but that last drive was just a heartbreaker. I don't know what to say other than Matt Stafford imposed his will against our defense.
Yeah, and that's somewhat disconcerting this season. You mentioned Dan Quinn, who was a former defensive coordinator. Your interim head coach, also a former defensive coordinator, and it looked like you turned things around last week with a victory before the Lions. And then to pretty much have the defense not show up in the key situation, it can't give you any, good feeling going forward to see that, I don't know, were they resting on laurels or just celebrating a win finally? But situational football is key to wins and losses.
Absolutely. And there were definitely situations, and it wasn't just that last minute and 4-second drive by the Lions. There were several key moments when the Falcons could have played better and won that game, because if you think about it, we lost by 1. One of the things that irritated me that I saw was that last drive from the Falcons, as they're getting closer and closer to the end zone, at some point, because at that point we were up by 6, all we needed was for them to let Matt Ryan take a knee a couple times, kick the field goal. Now we're up by 9. Even if Detroit mounts a comeback, they may, even if they get the 2-point conversion, that's only 8 points. We still win by 1. So I don't know what they were thinking. And there were several other key moments. There were a couple plays before the half where a couple of 4th and 1s where they could have gone for the field goal, which would have given us 3, which would have put us up by 2, considering we lost by 1. So I don't know. If I can see it, and I'm just a fan watching the game, you would think the people getting paid to win these games would see it and make some similar decisions.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, man. Well, moving forward to this Thursday, trip to Carolina, Teddy Bridgewater's playing pretty damn good football this season. You guys had them up in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, and they pretty much ran away with it after halftime and never really looked back. Granted, it wasn't like a blowout victory, but that was the game that ultimately got Dan Quinn fired. No Christian McCaffrey, most likely at this point. At the time of this recording, he has not been cleared to play. He is practicing this week, albeit lightly. Mike Davis, though, his backup, has stepped up quite admirably. He's at 284 yards and 2 touchdowns on the season. A dual threat in its own right. How do you guys contend with that backfield and then throw in Robbie Anderson with the way your defense has been playing over the last couple of weeks?
It goes back to what you said earlier, situational football. They've got to definitely pay better attention to what the offense gives them. They definitely have to make better use of the plays that they get. Since Raheem Morris has taken over, like I said, the defense has looked better. I'm noticing, obviously, except for that last 1-minute drive last week, I've been noticing better effort from the defense. They've been blitzing a little bit more, and they're looking better on blitz packages. I have not watched all the Carolina games, so I don't know how well Bridgewater handles the blitz. But based on the stats that I see of his, I like our chances of getting more pressure on him. But still, even with more pressure, Bridgewater's a hell of a quarterback. He's going to make plays. So the defense is going to have to be aggressive, but not sloppy. They can't just be fast for the sake of being fast. They've got to be fast and be smart. And like I said, with the extra effort I've been seeing, if they're fast and smart with their decisions, I like our chances of containing Bridgewater and slowing down that Panthers offense.
All right, let's flip it around here. Matt Ryan, over 2,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, only 3 picks on the season. You guys at one point were putting up like 35-plus points per game. Last 2 weeks, low numbers. Any concerns facing this Panthers defense, which has been playing better as of late, despite their 3-4 record?
Honestly, not really. The losses that we have had, there have been some moments where the offense has come up short. But no, I'm not that concerned, because one of the things that I really enjoy watching about Matt Ryan is watching him in the 2-minute drill. He's one of the best there is at the 2-minute drill and can put up points. And yes, you're right. We haven't put the last couple of weeks, we have not put up the 30-plus points that we usually put up. But Ryan and the offense has put up enough points that they should have won more games had the defense held their own. And so, no, I'm not that worried about us. I'm not worried about the fact that we haven't put up our traditional 30-plus points.
All right, well, these are two teams in the bottom half of the division, with looking up at both Tampa Bay and New Orleans. And, you know, look, if someone told me Tampa Bay was going to be 5-2 at this point in the season, I'd be like, okay, sure. But in the season projections for them winning it, I'm still kind of iffy on that. We're barely halfway there. Mm-hmm. Again, the onset of the Falcons, you know, bottom looking up. I don't want to say looking forward to next year, but you've your team's pretty much already done that in the front office, firing both the GM and the head coach. Let's get past this game, hypothetically, end of the season. Does Raheem Morris do enough, or do you see him doing enough to keep the job?
To keep the job as head coach, or to just keep his job as part of the coaching staff?
Let's go with both. First, do you think he has a shot at becoming the head coach? And second, do you think he gets retained by the new head coach coming in, depending on who it is?
So, honestly, I do think he has done enough. Well, let me rephrase that. No, not currently. So, at the end of the season, if he continues with what we've seen these first couple weeks, I think he could manage to keep his job. Yes, I think he could keep his job on the coaching staff, depending on who the new head coach is that they bring in. Do I think he could actually get the job as the new head coach? Yes, I do.
All right.
I enjoyed what I saw out of him when he was in, or let me not say I enjoyed what I saw of him, the record that he had when he was in Tampa Bay. With what he had on the field, I think he did an excellent job. So, yes, with what he'll, again, assuming they continue this path, yes, I think Raheem Morris could keep his job as and go from interim head coach to head coach.
All right. Any concerns with the short week going in? Doesn't look like there's any big injuries. We have the usual names, Gage, Julio Jones on the injury report, Alex Mack, but these are guys who pretty much, for those who listen to the Thursday podcast, these are names that have popped up every week since week 2, basically, with the same, touch and go injuries, if you will, right, that will linger through the end of the year. Any glaring concerns with your roster going into Carolina environment, who's pretty much looking at you guys as like a meal, basically, to try to get back to 500?
No, I don't see any issues as far as injuries that I'm concerned about. The only injury really of note is McKinley is out. I don't remember what his injury is, but I know he has not practiced. But realistically, he hasn't been much of a factor on the field. Don't get me wrong, it would suck to not have him because he's definitely speed and he can put pressure on the quarterback, but am I expecting him to definitely be a difference maker in this game? Honestly, no. So him not practicing does not worry me that much.
All right. In the short term here, good luck Thursday night against the Panthers. After that, your next 3 games over a 4-week span, because your bye is sprinkled in there. You're playing the Broncos, you're at New Orleans, and you're playing the Raiders. I can't say from the outside looking in at your squad that things are going to turn around anytime soon. Early thoughts on that next stretch of games?
Broncos, Saints, and Raiders. I could see us going 1-2 on that stretch. I could see 1-2. The game against the Saints, all the Falcons divisional games typically go one of 2 ways. It's either a blowout or it comes down to the final possession. So that game against the Saints could go one of those 2 ways. Raiders as well as the Broncos. Honestly, I haven't kept up with the Broncos very much this season, so I don't know how good or how bad they are. That's why I'm honestly counting that as one of our losses. I'm counting our 1 out of the 1 and 2 on the Saints because, again, it's a divisional game. They tend to either be blowouts or they're close. So, yes, on the next 3 games, I could see us going 1-2, but if the defense reverts to how it was for those first 5 games, we could easily go 0-3.
Final prediction for the game on Thursday night, score and an X factor?
Final score for that game, I'm going to go.
Season's not
24.
over yet. I got 9 more of these.
Right. For this week's game, I'm going to go 24-21 Falcons. What is that X factor? I think the X factor is the embarrassment of starting the season 0-5 when you clearly know that you should have won at least 3, if not 4, of those games. So I think that embarrassment factor is going to be the difference maker in this game this week.
Look, I hope you guys play consistently better. You know how I feel about your team. You're the most Jekyll and Hyde team I've seen in my life. I can never peg you guys down. Every time I say, all right, the Falcons are coming around, y'all lose. And every time I write y'all off, y'all start winning games. You play up and down to your level of competition. It drives me nuts. Anybody who's heard me on a Thursday show knows that I pretty much quit on this team as far as trying to figure out anything that's going to happen. I always say pick the opposite of what I do if you want to know what's going to happen with them, and you'll pretty much be fine. So, MJ, thanks for being on this evening.
You say it drives you nuts. Think about me.
Look, as long as it hasn't driven anyone, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure half the city in Atlanta is drunk right now, based on the season, but the sanity of your fan base, what's left of it, I'll continue to pray for them. All right, for MJ, the Falcons superfan, I'm James, the Eagles superfan, signing off. Good luck Thursday night.
Thank you, sir. Y'all have a good one.
So you've heard MJ's take. Here comes mine. I mean, these two teams met obviously in week 5. Panthers won that game 23-16. Bridgewater and Mike Davis both had really good games. Bridgewater, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mike Davis had 149 scrimmage yards. That was a career high for him, and a touchdown catch. I will say, though, even with the change with Raheem Morris, the offense has played well. Now, last week was definitely a letdown for the offense, but I still think they have enough to make things work in their favor offensively. It's still a defensive thing. And MJ said 24-21 Falcons. Honestly, you could flip that and easily say the same thing for the Panthers, despite the fact that the Panthers are 3-4 and the Falcons are 1-6. I look at the Falcons as being, is unlucky too fair of a word? It might be, because you don't lose 3 games. We talked about this on the NFL Sound Off podcast this week with Todd Gurley taking all the blame for the loss last week. You don't lose 3 games out of 7 in a season like that without unluckiness being involved. And for me, the offense of the Falcons, the talent on the Falcons is too good to be 1-6. Now, yes, our power rankings have put them way down. They are very low in the power rankings this coming week. But I mean, I don't know. It's another one of those Thursday night games where I got to throw my hands up in the air and say, I don't know. The Panthers are at home, so I guess I'm going to take the Panthers. They're ranked higher in our power rankings. I'm going to take the Panthers, but I can easily see the Falcons winning this. Just to give you guys a couple of stats that I think will be good for fantasy. Julio Jones is averaging 114 yards and 4 touchdowns in 8 career games on Thursday Night Football. He's going for his 3rd in a row on Thursday Night Football with 140 plus receiving yards. Calvin Ridley likes playing the Carolina Panthers. He averages 101 yards per game and 4 touchdowns in 5 career games versus Carolina. So Calvin Ridley likes playing the Panthers. Matt Ryan, he averages 280 yards per game, has 21 touchdowns, only 7 picks on Thursday nights. Let's see here. Versus Carolina, at least his past 4 on the road versus Carolina, he has 8 touchdowns, only 1 interception. So that's Matt Ryan versus the Panthers. I can't really give you Bridgewater stats because they're going to be all over the place. And I really told you what they did the last time they played the Falcons. And honestly, I don't see a lot of changes between these two teams from week 5 to week 8. So I'm going to reluctantly take the Panthers. I can easily see the Falcons win this game. It's one of those games that really could go either way and should be a close game. So if you're into close football, if you want to watch a close game, I do believe we're going to have a close match on Thursday night. Will it be one where the Falcons lose in the 4th quarter? Probably. I mean, if you're going with the odds, you got to say the Falcons are probably going to drop one at the end of the fourth quarter. So there you have it. It's the Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers. We'll be back with the full Week 8 preview on Thursday. We'll have another recipe from Doc. We will unveil our official power rankings for the week. So yeah, at NFU Podcast on Twitter. nextfanup.wordpress.com is our website. If you want to email us, nextfanup@gmail.com and facebook.com/NFU Podcast. If you don't like going to websites, and you just want to talk to us on a social media platform, that's a great place to do it. And we have all of Doc's recipes there and on the website, like I said earlier. With that, here's Kofi Annan. There you have it.
Dear friends and colleagues, saying goodbye is never easy. I believe we can all feel proud of what we have done together. And through it all, you have maintained your professionalism and commitment and remained true to the spirit of the Charter. That principle.
We go out, we hit people in the mouth.